Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus with Threshold of Hineni, and I'm going to talk about some things that are helping me through my grief, some really practical things. But first, it is almost 3 weeks since Bill was killed in an auto accident. It's just a few minutes before midnight on Saturday, and so tomorrow it will be 3 weeks. Tonight I had a class with the student who he had brought in a birthday cupcake for it was their morning, our night, of her birthday, and it was then, that day on her birthday that he was in his accident. And it's just weird because I did not expect that to hit me at all, but it really did. And it was just really special because I teach Chinese students online, teach English, all different ages, and she turned 5, and Bill liked to keep track of all the kids' birthdays for me on a calendar. He was always saying, make sure you get their birthdays, and stuff, and I never felt comfortable just saying, hey, when's your birthday? But if it came up in the topic, which it often does in the subject that we're talking about, then I'd get it and I'd send him a message and let him know, and he'd keep it on the calendar. And then he always made sure that he had a cupcake and he'd bring it in, he'd light it, and and bring it in and sing. We would sing happy birthday to the kids and stuff. And so he's not there to do that anymore, and it's just like that was kind of like a milestone kind of thing, seeing her today, and of course not saying anything to her or her mom about Bill dying. It's just that's not the kind of, I have a professional relationship with them. I don't have like a personal relationship. Some of my students I have a personal relationship. There's 3 students who know about what happened. Actually, 2 students and 3 parents. One parent I don't think has told their student. I've told the parents, not the students, and then if the parents choose to say something to their kids, because I've become really good friends with some of the parents. Anyway, that's not what I was going to talk about. I've been really depressed this week, and one thing that I wanted to talk about just briefly is that that's not a sign that there's something wrong with your faith. It's like Jesus sweat drops of blood and begged the Father not to make him go through with the crucifixion, but he was willing to do whatever God wanted him to do, and so he did. David, who wrote many of the Psalms, often talks about how he's crying and his bed is floating in his tears and so on and so forth. And he talks about how God saves up our tears in a bottle, which, I don't think he does that literally. I think it's a figure of speech, but it's a beautiful figure of speech that shows that God cares about our tears. And so, I think that the fact that I'm depressed is just part of the grief process. It has really hit me hard this week. I'm not quite sure, why this particular timing. I don't know if the shock is starting to wear off, or if it's because of all the information that we learned on Monday, or I don't know. And then there are times when I still am not completely believing that Bill's not going to walk in the door. I have his ashes in my bedroom, and I still expect him to walk in the door. It's just weird. It's like my mind and my heart can't fathom that he's gone, and just not willing to believe it, even though I'm trying to make myself believe it. So yeah, it's just weird, but I've come to start just accepting that, because I think that it's probably my mind's way of protecting me, that I'm not quite ready to have all of that hitting me in the face yet. I'm really depressed with what I'm managing so far, so if it really hit me, maybe I'd be suicidal or something. I don't know. So I'm starting to trust that my mind, that God has created my mind in such a way, or that God is steering my mind in such a way that I'm not overwhelmed by it all. I did have a conversation with a gentleman who, one of the 4 men who had been there with Bill after the accident, and that was really good. I'll probably share about that a little bit more at a different time, but they don't live very far from us, maybe a little bit more than an hour, so I'm really hoping to meet up with them. So anyway, but what I wanted to show you today that's helping me somewhat is my parents are here, and so I'm planning to stay in this house that I've owned since 2004. We moved out here in 2003, but then, in the divorce, I got the house and I paid my ex-husband for his half of it over the years. And so, it's all paid off and everything. It's not ideal for me because, like there's 16 steps of all different sizes up to the front door from the driveway. And my knees are really, really bad because of Lyme. And my mobility is not good. The laundry room is down in the basement. So again, stairs, really steep stairs that don't have a landing. It's just like, yeah, it's not ideal. But it's a pretty good house. I mean, it's really well built, and I love it. I love this house. It's in a good location. Not what I would have considered the best location before, because we're right across the street from the hospital, so we get some noise and stuff. But in my situation now, it really is it's a good location. And I don't have a car right now because, the car that was in the accident, our pickup truck, was our only vehicle. I had given my car to my daughter. And she's traded it in. So, so I don't have any vehicle at all right now. So fortunately my parents are here, although State Farm would provide me with a rental car. So, I just haven't done that. And I've never really enjoyed driving. So I'm fine with having other people drive me around. I'm going to have to do enough of my own driving. So anyway, so one of the things that we've been doing is we've been looking at ideas for what needs to change about the house or my routine or whatever so that I can function well in this house. Like for example, I have 3 cats. They have litter boxes, and with my knees and my back situation, it's really, really hard for me to try to change the cat litter. So, so I've spent some time figuring out what I need in order to be able to change the cat litter effectively and everything. So anyway, I've figured that out, and without having to buy a really, 3 really expensive cat litter boxes for $59 each that they've made for senior citizens. But, so, I was just going to write in a notebook and on 3x5 cards the things that I needed to change in the house and stuff like that, or things that I needed to buy to make my life more functional. I was really resisting using one of my journals that I've made because, they're pretty and they're special and everything. But then I realized, no, this is a really important stage in my life. It's not one that I was planning. It's not one that I want, but it's an important stage in my life. So I needed to use one of my journals for it. And I was looking at this one because this is the one that I had planned to use for the summer. And interestingly enough, I had listened to this sermon by Timothy Keller, and I had transcribed part of what he said because it just struck me so much. This was before Bill died, and I mean, of course, I had no idea what was going to happen. But here's what it says, and I forgot to keep track of what time it was when I started. Okay, I've got like 10 more minutes or so. Okay, so anyway, so I'm going to read what he said here, and keep in mind he didn't write this, he was preaching it, so it sounds kind of funny, because when you write down what somebody says word for word, it sounds kind of funny. But he said, the thing you've got to keep in mind is The Hobbit is an adventure, but The Lord of the Rings is a quest. The Hobbit book is a book for children, and it's more lighthearted, and it's an adventure. And the way the literary critic defines adventure is, he says, an adventure is there and back again, which of course is a big thing in The Hobbit. It's an exciting thing that you choose, and you go, and you have your adventures, and you have all your thrills, and it spices up your life. Then you come home again, and you pick your life up again where it left off. An adventure is there and back again. But a quest is not something you choose. It comes to you. You sense a requirement. You're called to it because of what's involved, and you never really come back from a quest. In a quest, you either die for the quest, or if you do come back, you're so changed that you never, in a sense, come back. You're never the way you were. You change so radically. And I'll link this sermon at the bottom because the whole sermon is just really good. Timothy Keller, if you've never heard him, is just incredibly profound. I'm reading his book on pain and suffering right now too, and just like I think I'm in the introduction, and it's already helped me a lot. Anyway, so one of the things that we're doing is, going through the house and trying to figure out what all I need to change. Where do I have my list? Here it is. So what I've done is I've started 4 lists, and I'm just going to share these with you because I think that they, if you're going through something like this, or if you're supporting somebody who's going through grief, this might help them. It wouldn't have helped me to do like right after Bill died. Okay, this is 3 weeks later. And I started working on this probably about 2 weeks, probably a week ago. So part of my situation is that we moved down here because we bought a house up in the mountains, and I already owned this house, so we decided to live here until we sold it. Well, we sold it a year ago, and so we moved everything up to the house up there, which cost over $3,000 to move everything. And then at the very last minute, like the last day, the deal fell through. And so we've basically been camping out in this house for the last year. We didn't want to pay $3,000 and move all of our stuff back. And so like our refrigerator's up there, our good bed is up there. We've been sleeping on a really lumpy, yucky, horrible bed, and very uncomfortable, which has not done anything good for my back. We've been using a dorm refrigerator. We didn't even have a refrigerator for the first 3 weeks. And then we decided, well, this is stupid. We're going to need a refrigerator. So we got a dorm refrigerator, no freezer, just stuff like that. So it's been kind of difficult. And when Bill died, I made the decision that I'm going to live here. I'm still going to have that house. I really want to be able to have retreats and stuff up there. And so that's what I'm hoping to eventually do. And hopefully that'll also help me with income. But I love planning retreats. And so I'm hoping to do Christian retreats, writer retreats, discipleship and Bible study type retreats, and crafting retreats. And so if you're interested in that, please let me know. I think they're going to be really good. I've planned really, really good retreats in the past, and so I'm looking forward to this. That was part of Bill's and my plan, was to do retreats. So anyway, so I'm going to so one thing that my dad mentioned, because we were talking about moving some of my stuff back here, because I have like no furniture, hardly at all, and stuff. And my dad said, okay, if it's going to cost you like $3,500 to move everything back, maybe it would be less expensive to just buy some of those things to have here, and then you'll still have those other things up there where you need them when you're up there, which is brilliant. I mean, like, a bed and dressers and all that stuff, washer and dryer. I don't need new stuff. I can get those at the thrift store, or refurbished or whatever. I'm not into like everything has to be matching. I've never been like that or anything. And so that's just really, really brilliant. So that was a great idea on my dad's part. So the things that I need to help me function by myself, because I'm going to be here by myself, I'm going to get a refrigerator. I need to get a washer and dryer, a bed and mattress, a basic chair for the cat room so that I can change the litter, a guest bed and dresser, because now I've got people who want to come stay with me, which is good. An earthing mat, that's a whole different thing. And then all these things are kind of like, these would be nice to have, like a chair for my room. A recliner would really, really help. But those aren't necessities. And then changes to the house. My laundry room is down in the basement. So we were talking about moving it upstairs to the spare room that I have the cat litter and stuff in. Because that's right above where the laundry room is right now. So, seeing if that would be possible to do. Also installing a parking pad behind the swing on my front lawn, which is at the same level as the house. So, because my house is on a hill, okay, and so the street comes right alongside here, and then, here's where I park in the driveway, and I have to walk up all these horrible steps. They're really pretty, but they're awful to try to walk up when you have bad knees, up to the door. Well, if I could come in from this part of the street and just park right up here, right by the front door, oh my word, that would be so wonderful. And so, we would probably have to get permission from the city, and everything, and and I don't know how much it would cost to do. I don't know how I'm going to have the money to do any of this stuff. Even if I have a really good insurance settlement, there's so many, I have so many expenses. So I really don't know how all this is going to come about, but it helps to have plans, and it helps to have, okay, like I need to go through and prioritize what's the most important thing. When I have the money, the first thing I need to do is buy a refrigerator or a washer and dryer or whatever. So like that, hand bars for the shower, because I usually can get in and out of the shower fine, but I'm here by myself, so I have to be extra careful not to slip. And sometimes when my knees are really bad, I've had to call for Bill to help me get out. Well, I don't have anybody to call now, so I need hand bars for that. Rather than taking the garbage down the steps, I can put in a little chute that I can have like ivy or something growing up so it doesn't look bad. Where I can just take it out to the front porch and put it down the chute and it'll go right into the garbage can. That would be so cool. I've got a leak in the roof above the kitchen. The ceiling in my office has a big hole in it, and I'm scared that a snake's going to come in through that because I'm pretty sure there's a snake up in the attic. I've got a leak in the basement. You know, the kitchen sink pipe, Bill had it taken apart because he was going to fix it, and so we have a bucket under there. Well, it's like, obviously that needs to be fixed. My house is in dire need of painting. It's peeling, and you know, that's not good. It's going to rot if I don't do that. So, you know, there's just like different things like that. So the other thing that we were thinking was if I hired a teenager, like from the church across the street, $20 for 1 hour every 2 weeks to help me like bring up groceries from the car, or bring them in if I have that parking pad. You know, just coordinate it so that I have, okay, my shopping, and I would get home in time for him or her to help bring up the groceries, take the trash out, bring up any deliveries that I've had, because I order a lot of my stuff from Amazon or Walmart.com, so it's just delivered to me. We've done that for years, and I'll probably do it even more now. So, you know, if I time things so that I can have a teenager come for an hour every 2 weeks to just do this stuff for me, the heavy carrying stuff, especially carrying up the steps, then that would be really good. So, and then changes to my routine I haven't written down yet. But those are just, you know, it really has helped a lot to have specific things in, you know, like a plan, and to have how to see that it would be possible for me to be able to function and not completely go crazy here, or you know, hurt myself badly, you know, falling down those stairs or anything. All that stuff just really helps. It doesn't bring back Bill at all. It doesn't take away my grief from him, but it takes away some of the overwhelm that I'm feeling with my situation, which I think is also allowing me to grieve Bill a little bit more. So anyway, I wanted to share that, and my time's just about up. So I'm going to let you all go. I love you. Thank you for coming on this journey with me, and I hope that it not only helps me, but that it helps you to hear these things, and maybe give you some ideas of ways that you could help somebody who's grieving, or if you are grieving, maybe it will help you either feel like, yeah, somebody else is going through this, okay, it's kind of normal, or maybe give you some ideas. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much. I love you. Love you, love you, love you. All right. Bye-bye.